this was the Grand Trunk Journey. Choo-choo! A train game for not necessarily train game lovers. If you don't, if you are not a very big fan of Age of Steam, 18xx games, I think you might enjoy a train game like this. It's a game more of hand management. I will talk to you more about the mechanisms and everything, but I usually take it step by step. This is a game for 2 to 4 players, 60 to 120 minutes. It is about right, the play time. Spielworks is last and one of their best games in my opinion. Let's talk about the rulebook. If you didn't have the patience to see all the playthrough, I hope in the end my thoughts are not what matters. Most important is for you to see the playthrough to see if it is a game for you or not. I would say from the beginning that I enjoyed the game from my first one. So if you think, I hope you don't see it's a bias or something like that. I simply enjoyed the game. I will tell you what I don't like about the game either. Also, so let's talk first and foremost about setup and teardown. Setup and teardown is rather fast if you manage to. I have a thing right here, and I will show it to you. Hey, stand up straight for a moment, like this. Yeah. Oh, in the frame. Hope, like this. Okay. Oh, behind the scenes. I have this one, like this. This little box where I put all the cheats, all the special delivery ones separated, all this separated. It makes the setup a little bit faster. Also the cubes, I keep them 2 colors in a baggie. The cards, I keep them every railroad operations with all of its tokens in one baggie. The setup is, I wouldn't say the fastest, but I'd say it's rather fast once you know the game. And teardown is easily the same. It is not a bear to set up and tear down. Now let's talk about the rulebook. The rulebook mainly is good. I mean, it is a good rulebook with plenty of examples, with everything is explained. You can. What I usually don't like about Spielworks rulebooks is the layout, because it makes the writing, the font a little bit smaller, and the writing a little bit more, and the writing, the way it's written, a little bit more cramped. I prefer a different layout. Eggertspiel layout, for example, or Lacerda's layout. This one, if you, just my opinion, if you manage to do it like this, I think it is a tiny bit better for people which I think, I have no problems with my eyes, but it gets a little bit cramped. This has nothing to do with how much the rulebook is good for you to learn the game from the rulebook. It is easy. If you see the playthrough, and if you read through the rulebook and through the rulebook and see the playthrough, I think the game will make sense very fast, because it is not a heavy game to learn. I think as far as rules go, they are intuitive. They are somehow easy to grok, easy to understand. Now let's talk about the second thing in my, let's call it a small review. If you have seen others, my final thoughts are like not necessarily an in-depth review, but not a very short, not short final thoughts. So I talk about components. Oh, now, well, and artwork, evidently. Artwork on this box, I think it looks nice. It looks good. It's inviting. I want to play this game when I look at the use of colors, the use of this nice choo-choo. It really, it puts you in the mood. Also, the artwork on the cards is very functional and it is well made for the type of the game it is. I mean, let's not forget it is a Euro cube pusher, whatever. But I think the artwork on cards and the colors which are used are very functional for the game and helps with not keeping you distracted from the game. Also, you will have to bear with me. I try to find the words in English fast, but sometimes it's not that easy. The artwork on the map is also, some people may call it bland, but for me it's functional. It looks good. The use of color is okay. It gives enough life not to... It infuses enough life to make the game look good on the table without being too flashy for the type of game it is. I don't enjoy a game with saturated colors, with, I don't know, impressionistic colors. For me, it really works. Now, talking about the cardboard is good, is stiff. I have nothing to say about the cards. Also, the cards are linen finish. The cardstock is good. Where I have... Oh, these little trains, I find them to look good. And they fit on the map. A thing which I always enjoy, even in a Euro or in a... mini game, the game with minis, like, I don't know, a game with minis, Euro game with minis. I enjoy, I don't enjoy oversized components. I do not enjoy, don't give me bigger trains because you think it's gonna look cooler because it's bigger. No, it's not gonna look cooler. Make it look like it's gonna fit with the board. Because a bigger train distracts. A smaller train just looks like it is on... it looks like it fits. And for me, it's important to look like it fits there. It looks... The whole thing is rounded. The whole thing looks like it just fits. I don't know how should I put it in a better way. So, what I do not like about components and artwork, but I don't think it's the graphic design's fault. It is a way they went with this because they tried to keep the costs at minimum. The drawing for... I like custom shaped resources. I do not enjoy steel to be white cubes and wood to be... brown cubes. I do not enjoy this. I want my meeples, my resources to be custom shaped. Well, I understand why they went this way, because Spielworks has this model of 1,000 copies and then try to make an agreement with a bigger publisher, which then transforms a little bit the game and the components of the game. Well, I think maybe it's time for Spielworks to do it itself. Maybe go to Kickstarter, maybe find a way to make more copies, or find a way, a partner to make more copies from the beginning, because I think that custom shaped resources and custom designed the artwork I mean, don't put a cube. Put an iron icon here, and here a coal icon, and a steel icon. And this, I so much like. With the coal cube, it's a coal cube. Maybe you don't need a custom resource for cube, but with an iron, unfortunately, I did this with. I have some other games where I took some of its components, like I don't know, some components from how is it called, the Alex Rockwell's game with the Wild West. I forgot. It's reprinted by TMG. So I took some components from the. I wanted to see how it looks, and it gives the game a little bit more life. And I think that custom resources gives the game just a tiny bit more life. Maybe, and I know some people might say, "Oh, it's a soulless hero." No, do not say it's a soulless hero. This game, and I will talk about theme in a moment, can be like if you have seen the playthrough, can be explained thematically. I'm not just delivering cubes from one city. I'm building a bigger railroad operation. I'm being more efficient. That's true. It's a euro. I'm being more efficient. But I can get into the theme a little bit more if I have nicer components. That again, I understand why they went this way. But I think for the price, I think for it can be done a little bit better, mainly if you manage to print more copies. And I think it's doable. It is a good game, and I think it deserves more attention. Now let's talk about the theme. Theme is we are building a railroad operation. Like I said, the theme, it works. The theme is there. The theme is can be explained. It's hard to explain thematically a deck building, some sort of a deck building, deconstructing mechanism, but it's everything you do here on the board is thematic. It's logical, and if you have seen the playthrough, it makes sense. It makes sense for a city to not ask for iron anymore because it has enough iron. For coal, for example, well, coal, everybody needs the coal because they needed the coal because, well, they needed to heat up. Coal is always needed, but iron, we've made enough steel. There's no more iron demand. We've made enough steel. Somebody needs to pick up the steel in order for us to make more steel. So the theme works. The theme is fine. This time track mechanism. Yeah, I need to go from place A to place B in this time. If the game would have had also money, I think it would have been less streamlined, and it's a medium towards medium heavy game in complexity. So probably it would have gone farther in complexity if money would have been added as another resource in the game, and I think it would have made the game a bit fiddlier. So this time track mechanism is really cool. Also, the way you manage to what I like is the way it's time management. How you manage your time in order to plan for the best deliveries, to plan for the best special deliveries, to plan for loading and unloading goods. This is a management, a hand management planning game, which develops through the game. The better your railroad is, the better actions you can do. And the crux of the game is how to be able to do this as efficient as possible and as smartly as possible. Like I said, in complexity, medium towards medium heavy for me is a 3.4, maybe a 3.5 game. Fast to learn. The rules overhead, they're not huge. They don't, rules don't bear on you. Like it's being a thematic game and making sense thematically. Everything you do makes sense. Maybe that deck building mechanism, deck construction, it's not really to explain, like I said, thematically. But other than that, whatever you're doing here, you will understand. So that's why the rules do not feel like a burden. On the other hand, as the thinking process of which cards do I use now, which cards will I use next turn, which cards I have in my discards, which cards I have in my the development deck, let's call it, which cards so I can develop, I can bring up to my deck, which cards I have in my deck right now. How do I manage to juggle this as efficiently as possible? Makes for a lot of fun and a lot of thinkiness. I mean, maybe I'm making up words. So you have to think how you'll, and for me, from there derives the fun, like I said, in the game. So from there also derives, because this is where I started from, its complexity, not from the rules. So the deepness of thought, of decision making, it what drives. And I enjoy these games because don't give me 100 small rules which I have to remember, and by that you create complexity. No, give me few rules, and with very few rules, very few actions, which time into more possibilities, into more algorithmical thinking, if algorithm thinking, if somehow you can understand what I'm saying. If I do this, then I will do this, and next turn I'll be able to do that, and I managed to plan 1, 2, 3 turns ahead. That's deep. Helps you think deep, helps you think strategy, helps you think not necessarily a little bit of tactical. What will I do this turn with the cards, which sometimes you will have to make do with some cards, because you're not going to be able to plan it perfectly. I mean, you might be superhuman, a machine, but most of the time you'll be able to do it. But sometimes in the game you'll have to make do with what you have, and then from then on to go back on your track. It is AP Pro. I wouldn't necessarily AP prone, but it will give some AP, because I think I explained why. There will be players which will think, what will I mean? I have this card. Well, I wish I had these cards. These cards would have helped me do this. So it will give a little bit of AP. Every player's turn is not very long, but because there is a little bit of AP, you will have to be cautious, let's say, to speed up sometimes a little bit the game. What feeling I've had of this game when I played it? A little bit of a Concordia feeling because of the cards. I think this game can be expanded with one or two more maps, maybe. The maps will come with new cards and railroad operations. Yeah, that is true. But if you manage to print more copies, it will not be as expensive. Also, the comparison with Concordia, if Concordia would have had cubes instead of custom shaped resources, I don't think it would have been as successful from the beginning. Those help a lot in that game, to not have cubes there. The game is good even with cubes, even if played it, but I don't think it would have had the same start from the same start, the same start it had with gamers. Also, why it gave me the Concordia sensation is this smart timed actions. This is why I think I've had that feeling, and I think this is why I like, because Concordia is one of my, say, top 15 games. This one gives me that feeling when I manage to time it gives you some freedom at some point, if you're gonna be able to do this, to use all your cards, not all your cards, but a lot of cards in your hand. I think I've used in the playthrough 3 or 4 cards in one turn. Actions you can play anytime in your on your turn. So if you manage to create smart combos, you can always it will give you a good feeling, like Concordia gives you when you manage to play a card which creates a big payoff. In this part of the review, I usually want to to talk about what I most enjoy about the game. That's why I started to make the comparison of the feeling of the card play. I'm not making a direct comparison between the Grand Rank Journey and Concordia. No, I'm not doing that. I'm talking about the feeling I get from playing with cards. I've had that feeling. Maybe some people will have it, maybe not. Yeah. What I also like is this player aid. It is a very good player aid. Here you have all your railroad operation cards. Everyone is explained. Here you have the turn sequence. Here you have in-game scoring, end-game scoring. Go once through the rule book and then you will have everything here. Also here you have development cards and then objective cards. Everything explained, everything laid out. This is one of the best Spielworks player aids I've seen. And I've had some words to say of some of its player aids, and it is a very good player aid in a lot of games which I have seen. Usually player aids are not. I don't know why publishers did not understand up until today how to do a good player aid. I don't have a lot of games which I talk about, and I give up. I always remind Wildcatters when I talk about good player aids. Games with a lot of rules, but which are very well distilled into a player aid. There are not that many games which are able to do that. This does it in this aid, and you don't have to always look through the rule book. You will not start to look to the rule book like. I think from my latest played games, this is one of the rule books which look still new, because I did not went all the time. Oh, what does that rules? Oh, so you have to then go again. No, play it in 3 or 4 days later. What does the other rules say? No, you have everything here. Everything is very well laid out here in this short turn sequence. I would have liked a map for 2 players. I think for 3 or 4 players the map is okay, but for 2 players I find it a little bit maybe too wide. I want a smaller map. I want to be able to, I don't know, steal someone's steel. Sometimes I think this can happen with more players. Not necessarily stealing, because in the end you can transform that. But I think it's too wide open. I think it's a little bit too much for 2 players. I want a tighter map, and that means tighter deliveries. Maybe I don't know. I think for 2 players it could have been developed a bit tighter. I think that. Also, I would have liked a place where I can go and deliver 3 different cubes and not get any return. for that. I mean, I couldn't load. So next turn I cannot unload, but in this turn, maybe towards the end of the game, I can make bigger deliveries, which can somehow help me get more points with these. I'm sure the developers are smart enough and thought of a lot of things. I'm just saying. I'm just talking. I don't think it hurts. So, I recommend this game to gamers, people who enjoy pick up and deliver, but mainly people who enjoy hand management, card play, with smart timing decisions, and a game which will give you options. People who enjoy options in their games. I've heard that people consider it random. I do not find it that way. It can, if you don't know how to develop, there are some like in Concordia, there are some things which you need to do. For example, upgrading your locomotive faster. That is the thing. In Concordia, in the first turn, you will go somewhere and build depending on where the markers are with whatever goods, you either go and build somewhere, or you either go and buy some cards, and it will hone your strategy. You have to, in order to have a better strategy, to hone your strategy, you will need to do this, to upgrade your locomotive. This is one of the things you must do. It's like in Agricola with making your house bigger. You need to do that. So that doesn't change its replayability. I think the game is replayable enough, and mainly I think with 3 or 4. I just think that with 2 players it's enjoyable. I think the map could have been a little bit tighter. I think it can be expanded with more maps. I think this is one of the best Spielworxx games in the last years. Those are my thoughts for the Grand Trunk journey. I hope you have enjoyed the playthrough and this. Until next time, me, Bogi, and my trusted gaming partner will say to you, have fun, happy gaming, and bye bye.